Well, we're on our way now to Firestone Station up at the main gate. Splits Creek, the white building here is the Susquehanna Plantation, built in the very early 1800s. Comes to us from St. Mary's County, Maryland, on the Paterson River. It was 700 acres of tobacco, wheat, and corn. The rust-colored building is the oldest American-made building in the village, dating to the early 1600s, the Plimpton House, where Mr. and Mrs. Plimpton raised 7 children in that one-room building in South Sudbury, Massachusetts. The windmill is the Ferris windmill, considered the oldest in the United States, built in 1640 on Cape Cod. It was a gift to Henry Ford by his National Dealer Association in 1936. And the dark gray building next to it, the Daggett Farmhouse that he was 54 from Andover, Connecticut. The locomotive pulling us today is the number 1 Edison. It's a completion that Henry Ford put together in 1940. Horses on the left there, they're drawn draft horses, those general giants that put a lot of work in Greenfield Village, pulling the carts and wagons and working the barn. They get about 4 days off in a row, relaxing, getting their legs off the horse. It separates Greenfield Village from the Ford test track where cars and trucks are tested before production. It's a process steam locomotive go through the purge the boiler from many types of scales from the boiler. It's called a blowdown. Henry Ford is a non-profit, independent educational institution not affiliated with the Ford Motor Company or the Ford Foundation. We are supported by our donors and vendors and our friends. The big heron off to the right. The open field here is Walnut Grove. It's an activities field throughout our season. We do different things in part out here. During the summertime, it's a historic baseball every Saturday and Sunday using 1867 baseball rules. where baseball gloves are optional and not preferred. The buildings up on the hill are the backside of the porches and parlors district. The red brick building is the Noah Webster home. The large yellow complex we're approaching is the Henry Ford Academy. It's a charter high school. Over 525 students attend. They're selected through a lottery system from Wayne County. Graduation rate exceeding 95%. The curriculum focus is on science, technology, engineering, the arts, and math. The 10th, 11th, and 12th graders are in classrooms here in the village, and the 9th graders are in the indoor museum. When Henry Ford opened Greenfield Village in 1929, he wanted to convey the inspiration of the American genius to the children. With Henry Ford, it was always children first. He could be seen with them in the classrooms and on field trips. He wanted to inspire them through America's traditions of ingenuity, resourcefulness, and innovation, and we continue that here today at Greenfield Village. The 3 Pullman cars that heading to the left are attached in the center, and they are part of the 12th graders' classrooms. Quite a few turtles over to the right on any of those logs that are floating in the water. They come out to sun themselves, and there's usually multiple turtles. There's another big heron over to the right. Many times people have asked me, why is this called Greenfield Village? Well, in 1929, this was Greenfield Township. Henry Ford named it by location. It's Dearborn now, but the name here will certainly always remain Greenfield Village. The Martha Mary Chapel's on the left. It's a non-denominational chapel, very popular for weddings throughout our season. The name comes from Henry Ford's mother-in-law, Martha, and Mother Mary. It's one of the original buildings. The green building is the Taste of History cafeteria-style restaurant. Connected to it a little farther down is the white building, and that's the Eagle Tavern, built in 1830 in Clinton, Michigan, about 50 miles away. There's where you can experience a 1850 sit-down meal with people serving you in period clothing. We're approaching Railroad Junction. Spitz Creek Depot is the first building up on the left, and its platform, you'll see, that is not open now. We've extended that platform by about 51 feet to accommodate a 4th passenger car on the train. Our platforms would not hold that, and this is the only one that will. It'll help us for the Thomas the Tank event that's happening for the next 2 weekends. Other events such as Halloween nights and anything else during the year that we would need 4 cars for. Spitz Creek Depot is one of the original 28 buildings in Greenfield Village when we opened October 21st, 1929. It is an authentic train depot, comes to us from Spitz Creek, Michigan, about 60 miles northeast of here, just outside of Fort Huron. If you get a chance, come back. Stop and talk to the person inside. That person will tell you all about life on the Grand Trunk Railroad during the American Civil War. The open building on the left is the Detroit Central Marketplace. You'll have plenty of new events happening throughout the season here in Greenfield Village. The brick building is the Detroit Toledo and Milwaukee Roundhouse, originally built in 1884 in Marshall, Michigan, about an hour and a half west of here. We were able to salvage some of that building that was in disrepair, included in this one, and opened it up in the year 2000. We do all service repair and maintenance on our 3 coal-fired steam locomotives. It's not open for visitation right now, but the big doors in front are open, so you can walk in front there and take a look inside and see where the other engines are. The largest part of our working farms district will be on the right turn up ahead as we make the left turn. This is the Firestone Farm, built in 1828 in Columbiana County, Ohio. It is the birthplace and childhood home of Harvey Firestone, the originator of the tire and rubber company, a very good friend of his. It's a working farm, 7.5 acres, works year-round, and it's open for you to visit. The farmers were doing some sheep shearing, cutting that wool off, and you can observe that if you go over to the barn. Remain seated. Our trip around Greenfield Village should take approximately 25 to 30 minutes. We'll have one additional stop. Please sit back, relax, enjoy the ride. Greenfield Village is divided into historic districts. The Henry Ford Novelty District is first on the left. This is Henry Ford's birthplace. It's the white farmhouse built in 1861. He was born there in 1863. He moved it here in 1944 from 3.25 miles away, which is downtown Road and Greenfield. Those are merino sheep on the left. Main Street District is where the Wright Brothers' home and cycle shops are. They're authentic buildings coming to us from Dayton, Ohio, built in the early 1870s. So learn about the beginning of aviation there. Visit Mrs. Cohen's millinery shop in downtown Detroit, built in 1860. Next to her, the H.J. Heinz building, built in 1835 in Sharpsburg, Pennsylvania. And Sir John Bennett's Sweet Shop from London, England, all on Main Street. Behind the Ford Motor Company to the left is the loading dock for the Model T ride. And this is the area where you can get one of those wonderful frozen custard cones. You've got to have them. Edison at Works is the next historic district. Thomas Edison is credited with 1,093 U.S. patents, many more from England, France, and Germany. On the village green is the Logan County Courthouse, where Abraham Lincoln practiced law, built in 1840 in Lincoln, Illinois. The long gray building here was the pre-built Menlo Park Laboratory. In the gold building we're approaching is Sarah Jordan's boarding house. Many of the men who worked for Edison at the lab lived there. It's one of the first buildings in the United States wired for electricity. Next to Sarah Jordan is Edison's official Fort Myers, Florida laboratory. And around the corner from him is the Luther Burbank Garden Office. The only building from the west coast of the United States built in 1906 in Santa Rosa, California. The 1832 Ackley Covered Bridge comes to us from southwest Pennsylvania. This is the entranceway in the Porches and Parlors District. Here you can visit historic homes such as Noah Webster's 1823 home from New Haven, Connecticut. Robert Frost's home, the Maddox Farmhouse, the Hermitage Slave Port, McGuffey's Cabin. All that up on Maple Lake. In addition, up the sidewalk and to the right, the sandstone complex is the Cotswold Cottage, built in 1619 in Chatsworth County, England. We'll be stopping directly ahead here. This is Susquehanna Station. We'll be here for 4 minutes. If you choose to get off here, the train will be back around in about 30 minutes. Please remain seated. Wait for the whistle. And then you can get up and get off on the left side. Just a moment, please. Wait for the whistle. Village and the Greenfield Village Railroad. For the safety of our younger riders, we ask that the adults of them place themselves on the outside of the road. If that's not practical, please hold them or have them easily reached. Remain seated when they come to a complete stop. Keep all your body parts inside the car, no eating or smoking. This is the last round trip of the evening for the train, so we'll be back in about 20 minutes or so here at the platform. Greenfield Village is divided into historic districts. The Henry Ford Novelty District is first on the list. Henry Ford's birthplace is the White Farmhouse, built in 1861. He was born there in 1863. He moved in here in 1944 from 3¼ miles away, which is on the corner of Ford Road and Greenfield. And those are merino sheep. Main Street District is where the Wright Brothers home and cycle shops are. They're authentic buildings coming to us from Dayton, Ohio, built in the 1870s. Mrs. Cohen's Millinery Shops on Main Street, along with the H.J. Heinz Building and Sir John Bennett Sweet Shop in London, England. Edison at works in the next historic district. Thomas Edison is credited with 1,093 U.S. patents, many more from England, France, and Germany. But beyond the number of patents are the industries those patents have created, such as voice recording, video recording, power distribution. Of course, we know about electricity. He certainly was the wizard of Edinburgh, creating millions of jobs for people throughout the world. Please sit down. Thank you. The gold building is Sarah Jordan's boarding house. Many of the men who worked for Edison lived there. It's one of the first buildings in the United States wired for electricity. Next to Sarah Jordan is Edison's official Fort Myers Florida laboratory. Around the corner from him is the Luther Burbank Garden Hall. It's the only building from the west coast of the United States here in the village, built in 1906 in Santa Rosa, California. The 1832 Hackley Covered Bridge comes to us from southwest Pennsylvania. This is the entryway to the Courthouse Farmers District. Here you can visit historic homes such as Noah Webster's 1823 home from New Haven, Connecticut. Robert Frost home, the Maddox Farmhouse, the Hermitage Slave Quarters, McGuffey's Cabin. A lot to see up on Maple Lane. And the other side of the bridge, off the sidewalk and to the right, the sandstone complex is the Cotswold Cottage, built in 1619 in Chatsworth County, England. We'll be stopping directly ahead here. This is the Susquehanna Station. We're only going to be here about 2 minutes. Just time to deboard and reboard. And then we'll be on our way to the main gate. Remain seated, please. If you plan to get off here, just wait for the whistle from the engineer. Once you hear that whistle, then you can get off on the left side. Do keep in mind, though, the train will not be back around. You will be walking back to the front gate. Remain seated till you hear that whistle. We're on our way now all the way to the front gate. The white building here is the Susquehanna Plantation, built in the early 1800s, comes to us from St. Mary's County, Maryland, on the Patuxent River. It was 700 acres of tobacco, wheat, and corn. The rust-colored building is the oldest American-made building in Greenfield Village, dating to the early 1600s. It's the Plimpton House, where Mr. and Mrs. Plimpton raised 7 children in that one-room building in South Sudbury, Massachusetts. The windmill is the Ferris windmill, considered the oldest in the United States, built in 1640 on Cape Cod. It was a gift to Henry Ford by his National Dealer Association in 1936. And the dark gray building next to it is the Daggett Farmhouse, dating to 1754 from Andover, Connecticut. Edison, that is a conglomeration of locomotives that Henry Ford put together in 1932. The horses on the left are perch-run draft horses, those gentle giants that do a lot of work in Greenfield Village, pulling the carts and wagons and working. They get their legs off the hard surfaces in Greenfield Village for 3 or 4 days and go relaxing before they're put back into the surface throughout the village. That 8-foot serpentine wall on the right-hand side was built in 1952. It separates Greenfield Village from the Ford test track, where cars and trucks are tested before production. The area we're going through now is the Wetland of Wildlife Preserve. There are some white-tailed deer, fox, coyote, and beaver back there. Various birds such as blue herons, white-eared, red-tailed hawks, and turkeys. The blast of steam process steam locomotives go through to purge the boiler of any scales from the water. We call it a blowdown. And on the area to the right where you see the water, a lot of those logs have turtles, quite a few turtles on them. There's one up ahead that must have 25 turtles. You'll see it, it's right near the high school. But there's a bunch of them right here. The open field here is called Walnut Grove. It's an activities field throughout our season. We do many things in part out here. But what we do there mostly is a historic baseball every Saturday and Sunday during the summertime, using 1867 baseball rules where baseball gloves are optional and not preferred. The buildings up on the hill are still part of the Porches and Parlors district. The red brick building is the Noel Webster House. And the large yellow complex we're approaching is the Henry Ford Academy, a charter high school. Over 525 students attend. They're selected through a lottery system from Wayne County. Graduation rate exceeds 95%. The curriculum focus is on science, technology, engineering, the arts, and math. The 10th, 11th, and 12th graders have classrooms out here in the village. The 9th graders are in the indoor museum. When Henry Ford opened Greenfield Village in 1929, he wanted to convey the inspiration of the American genius to the children. With Henry Ford, it was children first. He could be seen with them in the classrooms and on field trips. He wanted to inspire them through America's traditions of ingenuity, resourcefulness, and innovation. And we continue that here today at Greenfield Village. You see that rock coming up. There's a bunch of them on there now. Looks like some of them have already gone back in the water. These Pullman cars we're passing are some of the 12th graders' classrooms. Chapel is on the left, for weddings throughout our season. The name comes from Henry Ford's mother-in-law Martha and Mother Mary. It's one of the original buildings here. And we got a wedding going tonight. The Green Building is a Taste of History cafeteria restaurant, and connected to it is a white building, the Eagle Tavern, built in 1830 in Clinton, Michigan, about 50 miles away. We're approaching Railroad Junction, where there is Smiths Creek Depot, the first building we come to, and the platform is just ahead of it. The platform will be open next week. We've extended it by about 51 feet to accommodate a fourth passenger car. And that'll help us out during the Thomas event next week. Spitz Creek Depot is one of the original 28 buildings in Greenfield Village when we opened October 21st of 1929. It's an authentic train depot. Comes to us from Spitz Creek, Michigan, about 60 miles north of here, just outside of Fort Huron. The open-air building on the left is the new Detroit Central Marketplace. A lot of activities will take place throughout the year at that building. The large brick building is the Detroit Toledo Milwaukee Roundhouse, originally built in 1884 in Marshall, Michigan, about an hour and a half west of here. We salvaged what we could out of that building, included it in this one, and opened it up in 2000. We do all service, repair, and maintenance on our 3 coal-fired steam locomotives. It is not open for visits right now, but the big doors on, out in front are open, so you can see a lot of what's going on inside the building. Behind the trees and bushes is Liberty Craftworks. The largest part of our working farms district will be on the right side as we complete the left turn. It's the Firestone Farm, built in 1828 in Columbiana County, Ohio. It's the birthplace and childhood home of Harvey Firestone, the originator of the tire and rubber company, very good friend of Henry Ford. It's a working farm, 7.5 acres, work year-round. Station. We thank you so much for sharing part of your day with us today. We hope you had a good time. Please come back again real soon. And we hope you have a good, safe trip to wherever you're heading this evening. Remain seated for now. Wait for the whistle from the engineer. Once you hear that whistle, then you can get out the exit to the right. Right side on.
Make sure you have your phone in your pocket.
Just a moment, please.